After all, your friend can tell you you're being stupid, that you're misinterpreting everything, that you're getting lost under your stresses, that you need to take time off. You're being stupid, they say. But does it help? Your friend or even your mother-in-law can tell you, don't worry, you'll be all right. You're just a bit overwrought. Get some sleep. But does it help? So you're overweight, under-exercised, unhappy in your terrible job, ruminating that you can't pay the bills, and someone comes up with a brilliant idea that you're depressed. So off you go to the doctor and he gives you the pills to make you happy in your terrible job, to pay the bills, to get you into an exercise program that everybody knows you won't keep up. So will it help? Talking sometimes does not help. Sometimes it is dangerous, even when done by the so-called specialists in the talking field. So what does the third part of my address, what does the talking cure aim to do? In my mood clinics, we speak of softening the realities we have to face. We speak of invoking soothing responses to deal with our continuing irritations or irritabilities. We speak of finding a safe place, a safe sanctuary to allow our troubles to be talked about and to be settled. And we speak of recovering inner strengths for the self. So you can hear there, softening, soothing, a safe sanctuary, inner strengths, all very important. In a couple of weeks' time, my two students from Columbia and I will start our new clinic for self-worth and self-strengths. You see, with depression, the bottom falls out of life. We lose our sense of who we are. We lose our sense of having a worthwhile future. Enjoyment, happiness, enthusiasm, hope, all drain away. The talking cure attempts to recover what I call the fantasy of the future. Because you see, if your depression comes, all the blinds fall down and there's no fantasy of the future. So we want to restore the faith, a faith that there is a future. It may be a very different future from what you once envisaged. A fantasy of the future recovers that essential energy of faith, that essential dynamic of hope, and that is the first R factor in the therapy, the talking therapy that I propound. In fact, I have 8 R factors in managing depression. In this address, I shall mention only 4 of them. Thus, there is number 1, recovering your fantasy of the future. Number 2, the talking therapy works to restore some sense and sanity at a time when far too many anxieties and uncertainties are crowding your mind and your space. The intensity and the demands of a particular problem or situation can be so overwhelming that you can no longer see a sensible solution. In fact, you feel that you're just going crazy. You feel as if you're going to explode or you're going to fall down exhausted. What good will talking do? Charles Simich's poem depicts our state very well. He called his poem, "Things Need Me." Yes, things need me. City of poorly loved chairs, bedroom slippers, frying pans. I'm rushing back to you because you need me. Passing every car on the highway, searching for you in my bright headlights, down the dark, empty streets. You need me. Oh, you breathless people who can't wait to go to the beach tomorrow morning. What about the black and white photograph of your grandparents that you are abandoning? What about the mirrors, the potted plants and the coat hangers, the dead alarm clock, the empty bird cage, the piano I never play? I'll be your waiter tonight, ready to take your order, and you'll be my mysterious dinner guests, each one with a story to tell. Did you get the point of the poem? This person almost out of his mind, rushing everywhere to do something about the emptiness of his life. The talking cure sets out to restore some steadiness, some sense, some sanity to our stressful and scattered and slapdash lives. Thirdly, the talking cure sets out to repair our broken connections, to bind them up. Connections to life's better pathways. Connections to the things that are good and tender and beautiful. Understandably, that when things happen to us, we're likely to fall in a heap. We do. And we're likely to say, well, that's it. What's the point of talking? At these times, we need someone to draw alongside. And with the best empathy, open our closing minds and help you to say, now that this has happened, this bad event, what is the best life I can now live? And so we repair the connections with some new possibles. The talking cure. So I've spoken about recovering faith in a fantasy of the future. Number two, to restore a sense of steadiness and sanity to our stressful situations. And to repair broken connections with what is possible. So, my R4 is coming up. Note that all of these R's that I've given you are not only practical psychology for Sunday morning, but they are part of the basic cure from 2,000 years ago. Talking cure may not be a cure at all if it doesn't get to the core of the problem. Sometimes the core problem is concealed in a person's overlapping stories. Sometimes the core problem is concealed behind the person's tightly guarded facade. Sometimes the core problem is buried in the person's unconscious complexities and obfuscations. And the core problem may be such that it's going to be there and it will not change. So we come to the fourth R, and it's very difficult. It is the R of resolve. Some things will not change. So we need to resolve to adapt and live on as fully as we can. Some things want us to go on retelling the story, revisiting the pain, retracing the steps to the graveyards of life, reiterating our demands that these things should never happen to us, and here I am. I often pause to marvel at the grandfather clock that stands in my consulting room. Long before it became mine, it was ticking away in other places, listening to other stories, watching many events pass in front of it since 1758.